You are all most welcome.
I've made it live on YouTube.
Sorry?
It's now broadcasting on YouTube.
Oh, you've put it there? You've put it on Constant YouTube?
No, on news.
Okay. Then please go ahead. Then then get the link and then you can put it on the poster. George, you're welcome. Gladys, you're welcome. Christine, Mr. John Serwanga, you're welcome. Judith, you're welcome. Okay, David, you're welcome. Wow. You're welcome, colleagues. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Mr. Chimera, greetings.
Wow, Bernard, you're most welcome.
I was climbing the mountains to make sure that I arrive.
We knew. We didn't see the chopper we sent.
Oh, I was climbing the hills to make sure I hide in some coffee plantation and be able to.
You're most welcome. We are honored to have you.
Thank you. And thank you, colleagues, for joining the call. And Mr. Chimera, thank you for starting the call. I think that our guests are already here, but we still have a few members so that we are able to start our conversation of the day.
Yes.
I am not very sure if our guest is on the call.
Let me check out. Okay.
Yeah, you could check out and see.
She has not yet arrived.
Comrades, thank you for always keeping the time and making sure that we join on the top of the hour. We want to appreciate you for the good work that you're doing out there. Of course, we condole with our people in Fort Portal, the Toro region, for the loss of our dear king. People from the entire Toro region, Chegegwa, Chenjojo, Kabarole, Fort Portal, Bunyangabo, parts of Kasese, parts of Undibujo. We condole with you, colleagues, for the loss of His Majesty. We pray that God rest his soul in peace. Of course, I know that we shall be getting updates again from you about the arrangements of his send-off. The rest of the members from the rest of the other parts of the country, we shall keep condoling with the Fort Portal team, the Toro team, for the loss of their king. Yeah, so colleagues, kindly remind your other colleagues on your pages such that they join the conversation. We have only 4 minutes. Usually we start the conversation at 10 minutes past the top of the hour, such that we can be able to deliberate with everybody on board. We are only 21 so far, and usually we expect that we shall be 80 of us, between 80 and 100. So now that they're only 7 minutes past 2, let us kindly quickly remind our colleagues such that we dive into the conversation of the day. Of course, aware that many of us have been buying things in the market, in the shops. Sometimes you are buying meat somewhere in your village, and then you realize that you're buying a kilogram of meat, but in actual sense, someone only gives you maybe 3/4 and point something, and the consumer has already paid money for a kilogram. So whom are we supposed to hold accountable? How is that important to us as consumers? How are we supposed to deal with those cases? So it will be the conversation of the day, and we are honored to have a colleague from the UNBS. The last meeting we had, you requested us to bring colleagues from UNBS such that you are able to raise some of your questions for clarity, and we are glad that one of our senior colleagues from the UNBS accepted to come and be with us today and share with us extensively on these matters. And I beg that you keep your questions, and as soon as she's done discussing, we shall allow her to respond to any of your questions in relation to the topic she's going to discuss, but also some matters that may be related to consumers and the UNBS, as you had requested us in the previous webinar. The other, we intend that we shall spare some 20 minutes towards the end of this conversation, and we introduce something on the front of the pack warning labels, because it matches very, very well with the labeling and also the issues of metrology. I mean, if people are labeling that, okay, this product is having 500 grams of fat, what does it mean? How should the consumer be able to tell that actually this is maybe high or less? So we shall have that conversation a little bit later after having a discussion on measures, the weights and measures discussion. So the conversation again is going to be rich. We are very much aware of what is going in the country when it comes to food regulation. So the front of pack warning labeling will be something very critical for the media personnel to know what is happening around us, but also to be in position to start reporting on that, but also participate in the campaigns that will be happening. So those are the two things that we shall look at today. And I hope that every person is able to understand these concepts. And then we wouldn't want to see many of our colleagues miss out. So please let us spread the link such that colleagues can join, and then officially we should be able to start the conversation of the day. Otherwise, feel free to go online and then register yourself. Not necessarily register, but introduce yourself. Just saying, okay, who you are and where you are, so that we can also, the colleague at UNBS should be able to tell the comrades that are on the call in terms of when she's balancing her content, she will be able to give us maybe case scenarios from the districts or from the cities where all of you are coming from. So it would be nice that we can provide something in the link. So for instance, Bernard, Wambale, of course, consent. One also could introduce themselves there, such that we start seeing which radio stations are missing, which TVs are missing, and then maybe we can also reach out to them. But also Sylvia should be able then to see who is on the call and who isn't on the call. So basically, colleagues, you're very, very welcome. Let me just give it a few minutes for you to reach out to your teams, and then we are able to discuss. I don't know whether I should do some round of introductions. Just if you can be able to put up your hand, well and good. Do we have a team from Fort Portal? Let me start from the Fort Portal team, because they have lost their king. I am sure that we may not have so many of them, but Edward, I can see Edward. I can see who else. Edward, where are our colleagues? Kindly reach out to them so that we can, I know they are mourning, but yeah, just reach out to them. Okay, Kasese, let us see some hands from Kasese. Baluku Pade, who else? Kasese. Let me just check. Your names are unique. Let me see who is in the house. I can only see Baluku. And no, Caesar is not. Baluku, where are the other colleagues? You are also alone. Where are the Wambadis and Kules? I can see Mumbere, Isaac, and Mindo Francis. Okay. Okay, Francis and Isaac and Pade. Let me see. No, your team is still very small. Kindly reach out to your teams. Let me see those coming from Kabale, if we have any now yet. Kabale. Okay, Mbarara. West Nile. Let me see West Nile. West Nile. Okay. I can't see West Nile yet. I think we need to remind them, Asha, in the groups. Let me see if... Okay, Caesar, Arua team. I can see Caesar from Arua. Glad to see you. Kabari, okay. Queron Ambrose, welcome. Glad to see you. Let me see Mbale team. Okay, let me not say Mbale, but Bugisu area. Asha, you could reach out to Kitgum or Poker Dennis and your team. Afoyo Matek, Afoyo Totwala did. Let me see who else. Kapchorwa. Nice to see you, Zipporah. Okay, glad to see all of you as I wait for others. Apoka. Okay, Afoyo Madrid. Afoyo. Let me see. Colleagues from Kapchorwa, I don't know how you greet. So somehow I don't remember how to greet in your language. Okay, just have a quick look at... Okay, let me see. Okay, well, I don't see others yet, but I think Judith, glad to see you from Bali. Wanyalanavi. You could also reach out to other comrades so that in the next 2 minutes we should be, or 3 minutes, we should be able now to proceed. Henry, just let me know if Sylvia is here. I'm trying to check and I can't seem to find her. Okay. Okay, so now we are 33 of us. I am hoping that we have reminded our colleagues on the page. I am sure that they are filling in the simple template online.
Recording in progress.
Yeah. So let me see. Someone was reaching out saying that they're having challenges at joining. Okay, let me just give him the live link. Great. Well, so in our midst, we also have colleagues from the Uganda Food Policy Coalition. Glad to see you, comrades. I can see, of course, the consent team is here, but also I can see that Sarah is here. Naisanga, glad to see you. Let me see who else. Okay, I think Sarah is representing the Food Policy Coalition. All right. Glad to see you all, ladies and gentlemen. Now I want to remind you of why we are here. For those who have just joined us, kindly note that we are going to have two important discussions. Discussion number one will be on the weights and measures. And what we are talking about is basically consumers in many instances are being cheated. You go to buy meat, they weigh for you meat, 1 kilogram, but in actual sense, the guys have actually tampered with the weighing scale. And what you are paying for, instead of paying for 1 kilogram, they offer you less. Even if it is less by some grams, that's already a loss on the consumer. And then it means that the consumer is not getting benefit of the money that actually they have paid. And then there are also other communities that actually don't use weighing scales, but instead they are using cups, they are using basins, they are using trays. Sometimes they just weigh by looking at things. The guy is just looking at the thing and saying, no, this is 1 kilogram, you know. So we're looking at if these weights and measures, how are they supposed to protect consumers from, first of all, from theft, people cheat us, from fraud, people being defrauded through these weights and measures. And so we are asking ourselves, how is it important and why is it important for people to actually use the right weights and measures, to make sure that actually the weighing scales are working and also they are well calibrated. Number 3, to make sure that we are using the right equipment in measuring products. And so if people do not follow the standards, by the way, do we even have the standards on these weights and measures? Are these scales calibrated, and where are they calibrated from? If you want to calibrate your scale, where do we go? Do we have an institution responsible for weights and measures? Someone goes to buy cement, you buy 50 kilograms of cement, but then you reach home and the cement is less, probably maybe 49 kilograms or maybe 48 kilograms. You must have seen what has been happening on the news, how people buy cement and the cement is actually not making the 50 kilograms. And what is hidden in there when we don't tell people the truth about the weights? It means if you are supposed to mix 50 kilograms in a particular quantity of sand, you will find that you'll measure the quantity of sand and then for you are adding 48 kilograms instead of 50. And so what is going to happen? What is going to happen is that maybe the building is not going to be as strong as it would be because now you are using less rations as compared to the other rations. So that is the conversation we are going to have this afternoon, speaking really about the weights and the measures and how those protect consumers. But also we want to express our complaints, if at all they are there, or concerns. As media personnel, you are also consumers. What are the issues that you've seen with scales or weights in your area? The team in Fort Portal, the team in Mbale, the team in Gulu, we've done several comparative testing. Consent usually comes there, and then we do a comparative testing, trying to see whether the products are actually weighing to the standard or to the labeled values. And the teams in those districts, you've seen what exactly happens. We had also one in Kasese. We just randomly bought items and everybody came with their product and we weighed all of them and none of them was actually weighing the quantity that is being pronounced on the cover. So what brings about that? What should we do when such circumstances happen? Where do we report if at all some of the things come through? Those are the questions that we want to address during the course of this conversation. It is not only in terms of food products, but also talk about iron bars, talk about the iron sheets. You know, all those things are measured. They are supposed to be of a particular gauge. They are supposed to be of a particular width. They are supposed to be, but are consumers aware? And how, when we are being compromised by the industry, where do we go? How do we report? Where do we report to? How do we complain? But also the media, when these things happen, do we report them? Do we even tell consumers about them? Are consumers even aware? So that is the kind of conversation, if I was to prepare our minds to listen in to this conversation. So such a conversation, we cannot afford to miss talking about it. And also our colleagues out there cannot miss talking about or hearing about it. So keep reminding our colleagues. I know now I'm going to open the floor for our presenter in the next few minutes, such that we move forward. But also the second issue we want to discuss is that, previously we've been talking about issues of non-communicable diseases being associated with diets. We've been talking about unhealthy diets for quite some time, and I want to appreciate all of you. Last year we took the whole year telling you about the nutrient profile model. Now the nutrient profile model has come. Eventually the Ministry of Health has given Ugandans a nutrient profile model. I want to remind you that a nutrient profile model is that technical tool that we use, or that is setting thresholds for how much sugar is in the food, is supposed to be in the food. For instance, we said that excessive consumption of sugar and fat and salt are associated with non-communicable diseases, and we explained this for So we had a conversation of how much is too much sugar, how much is too much fat, how much is too much salt, how do I know that the product is high in sugar, is high in fat, is high in salt? And we had that conversation. And those are the questions that you've been asking. Now, the government has approved a nutrient profile model. The nutrient profile model is a document that spells out those different thresholds of sugar, the moment they give us or they make food that is high in those products, sorry, I dropped up a little bit. Sorry, Henry, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
And kindly you confirm with me that Sylvia is here.
No, I've just talked to her. She's having challenges joining, but she will be with us within a minute or two.
Okay, so I can just be finishing off what I was sharing with the colleagues as she comes, such that I will not come again later to distract her. So,
continue the curtain rising.
Yes, so comrades, now that you guys fought very hard for us to have the nutrient profile model, you wrote a lot of articles, you pushed government to come up with the model, now the model is out. We want to appreciate all your efforts for ensuring that this model is out. Now we know the thresholds of how much sugar must be in your So now we know the amount of sugar, the amount of fat, the amount of salt that is supposed to be in a particular food, whether it is solid or liquid, courtesy of the nutrient profile model. Now the model, as I mentioned, it sets a foundation for other regulations, and one of them is what we call the front of the pack warning labeling regulation. What does that mean? It means that now the consumer out there cannot know 10% of fat. If you wrote, for instance, on a pack that you see this food is 10% sugar, 10% salt, the consumer doesn't understand your percentages. The consumer doesn't even understand your kilocalories on that pack. So what we are requesting is that once a product has been made and is put on the market, as long as this product has excessive sugar, meaning that the threshold in the NPM has been, the sugar in the product has gone beyond what the NPM provides for, the manufacturer or the person making this food must inform the consumer that this food is actually high in sugar. If the same product is high in fat, then that person must inform you, the consumer, that this product is high in fat. If the product is high in salt, the person should indicate to you that actually the product is high in salt. Now, how is that supposed to happen? We are going to, as a country, we are supposed to decide on the different types of labels. Other countries have these labels, and so we can pick a leaf. It's not only Uganda. We've seen them in Chile, we've seen them in Mexico, we've seen them elsewhere, where consumers are notified that actually this product is high in sugar, high in fat, and high in salt. But this label must be on your pack and in front of that pack, and it must be in bold letters. So we don't want you to tell us, okay, 5% what, okay, those ones you can put them at the back of the pack. But we want that on front of the pack, in front of that packaging material where the food is packed. You have to write there, high in sugar, or high in fat, or high in salt, such that the consumer makes a decision on whether to buy that product or not. So you are informed in advance. Now that you guys are already aware, we've been teaching you these things about how sugar, fat, and salt are risk factors to non-communicable diseases, and then you are continuously telling people. So when people see that label like this on a product, now they can make healthier choices. So that is the regulation. Now we have started a campaign on calling upon government to save consumers from eating unhealthy food products by coming up with a regulation that helps the industries to label the food in that manner that I've just explained. So we shall continually now talk about the front of the pack warning labeling regulation. And we want to have this as fast as we can. So we want that by the end of next year, maybe by around July or August, we should have such a regulation to save people from eating food without knowledge of consumers. So the consumers are not informed. Now this regulation will be mandatory to make the industry label the food the way I've explained, such that you and I, when we go to a supermarket, we are able to identify these products very quickly, and then you don't consume them, or you consume them at your own will or at your own risk, but when at least you know. So what you're talking about is consumer protection. How do we protect consumers? How do we make sure that consumers receive justice? So basically what we are saying is that once the front of pack is not there, consumers are not able to interpret the scientific labels. They are not able to interpret those tiny things. They are not able to know that actually the food is having those ingredients of critical concern. You are not able to tell because these things are written in nutritional language, they are written in English, they are written in technical language, which you and I may not be in position to understand. So our request is simple. Government, can you please put in place a regulation that makes the industries of food mandatorily label the food and let the label be on the front of the pack, such that Caesar and Akulu and Christine and Asha, Bernard and Chimera and others, we can be able to just see this product, and once we look at it, we say now this is high. Then I make a decision on whether to take it or not. Now in other countries where this regulation exists, it has it helps the industries also to reformulate their products. So how is reformulation done? It means that if the nutrient profile model says your product must not exceed 10% of sugar or salt or whatever, with those thresholds that have been put, that energy in your product, the fat should not contribute 30% of that. Now, the moment the industry understands those levels, then they will start making products that are low in fat, that are low in sugar, that are low in salt. So that's what we're calling now reformulation. So the nutrient profile model, coupled with the with the front of the pack warning labels, they help the industry. So they are not just helping consumers, they're also helping the industry to reformulate their products such that their products are actually healthier for the population. So they can get also more money from those healthier products as compared to giving people products that are just tasty but harmful to health. So that is how the nutrient profile model and the front of the pack warning labels are supporting the industry. So it's not an issue of supporting consumers only, but also we are supporting the industry to reformulate their products such that they are within the limits of sugar, fat, and salt in the products that they are giving to consumers. Now, I hope that makes sense, or it is understood by the comrades. Now, on the side of the consumers, the nutrient profile model, rather the front of pack warning label, it is basically to inform the consumer to make an informed, healthier choice. That is the word. So when you are able to go to the supermarket, just think about it and you see a label there. And that label is telling you this product is high in sugar. Just like that. You don't need to run around and start reading grams, what. You are able to tell just from the front of pack. Even when you are far away, you are able to tell. So that alone enables you to say, well, they told us fat and sugar is harmful to health. Now I need to look for an alternative. So you are able then to make an informed, healthier choice just by mere reading the front of the pack. Now, research in the countries that have progressed has shown us that actually, when they introduced the regulation, there has been a reduction in the consumption of products that are high in sugar, fat, and salt. A reduction of up to around 37%. Just imagine that reduction in the consumption. But what does that mean? It has all translated to the industries coming up with now healthier food products, because already they are losing 30%, 37% of the market. So now they are coming up with the products that are even healthier. As if that is not enough, in countries like Chile and Mexico, South Africa, those countries that have passed this regulation I'm talking about, they have seen a steady reduction in the non-communicable diseases. And how are they attributing? They are saying, okay, when we started seeing a drop in the consumption of products high in sugar, fat, and salt, then instantly we started seeing a reduction in the non-communicable diseases as well. So it is a tested model. It is a tested regulatory action that is actually reducing the burden of non-communicable diseases in those countries. And now that Uganda, 33% of Ugandans, 3 out of 10 Ugandans who die in this country, they die of a non-communicable disease. It means that if we just reduced the consumption of products that are high in fat, sugar, and salt, this 33% of people who are dying every year because of non-communicable diseases could actually lower down. Now, the other unfortunate bit is that you and I, we have a 22% chance or risk of dying of a non-communicable disease before we make the age of 70 years. That means that we all stand now a risk of actually getting a 22% risk of getting a non-communicable disease if we don't address the way we eat, if we don't reduce the sugar, the salt, and the fat. We are having a 22% risk of actually dying of a non-communicable disease before we are...
Mr. Moderator?
Yes, Henry.
Our facilitator has joined.
Okay, kudos.
And now I leave the floor to you by just saying we would like to welcome you all colleagues to our media league that is all about consumer justice and protection. And today we would like to look at the role of weights and measures in realizing consumer justice and protection. That said, let me hand over to our moderator, Mr. Bernard Bwambale, the head of programs at Consent and the national coordinator of Food Safety Coalition in Uganda. Mr. Bernard Bwambale, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Henry. So colleagues, the other chapter is done. I hope that you picked something, and I hope that you'll follow it up. But let us first do the conversation now that our facilitator is here. Let us first have this conversation. So we want to welcome Sylvia Chirabo, Miss Chirabo Sylvia, who works at the UNBS. We want to really appreciate the fact that you've given us your time to come on this call to share with us, the role of weights and measures in realizing consumer justice and protection. So Sylvia is the head of marketing and public relations at the Ugandan National Bureau of Standards. And glad to see you, Sylvia, once again. You are going to share with us, and on the call, we have 70 of us. These are journalists from across the country. Some of them are coming from the northern region. Others are coming from the eastern part of this country. A bigger group is also coming from West Nile. We have a team from the Rwenzori, the team from the Kigezi area. We have a team from Central region. We have the teams from also as far as Lamo and Kitgum up there in the northern area. So we are grateful that everybody is here. And now that you're here, I want to give you this opportunity to speak with us, take us through. What are these weights and measures? What do they do? How relevant are they to us anyway? Am I supposed to get concerned as a consumer? What happens when I'm cheated? What happens when I buy a product and the product is less in weight? Where am I supposed to report? Do we have a reporting system in the country? Is it the role of UNBS or there's another person? Where do we run? These are the questions that have been running in our minds, and we are glad to have you. Kindly come on the floor and share with us from your wealth of knowledge and information from the UNBS. Colleagues, as we have always done, please let us put our hands together and give flowers to Sylvia as she comes to share with us. You're welcome, Sylvia, and over to you. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you for the flowers. Thank you for the flowers. Sylvia, over to you, please.
Yeah, she's co-host, so she's in position to unmute and also share her screen in case she needs to. Sylvia, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much, the team at Consent Uganda, Mr. Henry Chimera, the team leader, Mr. Wambale, our moderator this afternoon. Good afternoon, my colleagues from the Fourth Estate. It's always a pleasure linking up with you all. And I want to thank you for committing time this afternoon for us to dialogue about weights and measures. As I've been already introduced by my moderator, my name is Sylvia Chirabo. I work with Uganda National Bureau of Standards, and currently I'm heading the function for Public Relations and Marketing. And I'm glad to be here. I think I have been associated with issues of standards and metrology for over 15 years now. So when it comes to a discussion on metrology, weights and measures and standards, I speak from my heart. So I think I will be able to have a great session this afternoon. And yes, unfortunately, Mr. Chimerantim, I'm not able to share my screen because of where I am now, but I had requested someone at Consent, if possible, they can share the screen. But yes, I can kickstart the discussion. I also need to be guided. For how long am I supposed to take with the presentation, Mr. Wambale?
You have 30 minutes, dear. 30 minutes will be good.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. First, I want to first speak to you about UNBS. Maybe not all of us here.
Sylvia, may I disrupt you a little?
Please do.
Did you share the presentation so that they can start presenting?
Yes.
Okay.
I had shared something,
okay.
but I can, for now, I think for the next 30 minutes, I'm able to share a screen. So
okay,
let
please,
me also share my screen.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, please. For us to be able to appreciate where weights and measures comes in, colleagues, we should first be able to know the bigger picture about UNBS. And in here, briefly, I think I would want to speak more about what UNBS stands for. And members, UNBS, the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, is an agency of government. And we are under the Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Cooperatives. And very interesting about the Bureau of Standards, we actually implement 2 laws. We implement the UNBS Act, Cap 210, and we also implement the Weights and Measures Act. So our discussion this afternoon is drawn from the Weights and Measures Act. And in this act, our area of discussion will go on the metrology, which is the science of measurement. But just briefly, to also share with you an interesting dynamic about the Bureau of Standards mandate. It's a promotional mandate, and under promotional, we do facilitate trade through standards development. And under standards development, definitely we get a team of experts who sit together with us, and UNBS acting as the secretariat. We draft what we call standards. And standards are simply put as guidelines that show you the details of a product or a service. And this you must comply with if you're to put a safe product on the market or if you're to offer a good service. And under standards, we have different types of standards. We have what we call the national standards. Those are standards that are actually local in nature, things that address our needs as a nation. I'll give an example of the Insenene. We have the Insenene standards. These are unique to only Uganda. So we have them. But we also have the regional standards, and under the regional standards, we have the East African Community Standards. And also at the continental level, we have the continental standards. So these ones have been harmonized. So if you have a product made in Uganda and you want to cross the borders, that product will be allowed because we are implementing the same standards that have been harmonized across the East African region as well as the African region. We also have what we call voluntary and compulsory standards. So for compulsory standards, these cover products that have a direct impact on our health and safety. So you have no choice but to comply to those standards, and these are enforced. So we will come out and enforce them should there be a section of especially the business community that will not be following those standards. Moving on to calibration. If you look at this, this is an equipment that is used to measure accuracy. And with accuracy, we are speaking about the standard of measurement. If, for example, there is a kilogram in Uganda, and if you go to Hong Kong, will it be still a kilogram? So that is still the mandate of the Bureau of Standards to make sure that the standards in the measurement systems are maintained. And these are maintained at our national laboratories, metrology laboratories that are actually located in Boyogere. We also do testing because many times people say, how can I confirm that my product actually complies to the standards? This must be done through a laboratory testing process. And in there, you see an overview of the UNBS International Accredited Laboratories on my right. And on my left, we have one of our analysts doing the job inside the UNBS laboratory. So we do all this on behalf of Ugandans, just to be sure that the products that are on the market are safe. I also want to draw your attention to the quality mark, and this is under the UNBS certification services, where we have product certification. And for all the products that we have interfaced with having this mark, that confirms that UNBS has assessed and can attest that that product is safe for your consumption. But also as well, the magic about this quality mark, if you have it and you want to export outside Uganda, but within the East African community, that mark has been notified by Uganda as our mark of quality. So ladies and gentlemen, this mark has an implication. It opens up doors and opportunities for our businesses, but also it's a recon that assures you that something that you're going to use and consume conforms to the set standards. If you look on my right, you can see that UNBS is an accredited provider for the quality management systems. And these are international systems, ISO 9000 and many others. If you're offering a service, we can certify you so that you are able to offer that service following internationally agreed procedures and guidelines. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to draw your attention to what we enforce. I told you UNBS has two phases. It has the promotional phase, and now it also has the regulatory phase. And under the enforcement aspect is if you cannot get the quality mark, the Bureau will force you to get it. Let me use the word force because I mean, will require you to have that product certified. But we also implement the market surveillance and enforcement of compulsory standards through the regulation of 2021. And under this enforcement mechanism, the UNBS officers who are authorized, and when I say authorized, these have been gazetted by government to undertake this assignment, will move out into the field and look out for products that are complying with UNBS requirements. For example, what are these products that do not comply? Expired products, products that actually do not even have a quality mark at all, products that have been condemned, and there's an international public knowledge. For example, the cosmetics that we all know that have hydroquinone, those have been prohibited. So when we find such products on the market, we put them off. And then we also have an inspection regime for products that are made in, that are not made in Uganda. So under that, we usually do what we call the inspection of imports. And these are operations that the Bureau of Standards undertakes in the customs area. And we work closely with the tax collector, the URA, to enforce this. And finally, and this is the area of our focus today, the weights and measures. Under the weights and measures, we enforce and require that the equipment that is used for trade is acceptable, has been verified by the Bureau of Standards. And under this category, and as I've said, the Act is the Weights and Measures Act of CAP 84 that allows us to undertake this assignment. And the main reason is for fair trade and consumer protection. Ladies and gentlemen, in our ordinary trade transactions, if it's a commodity and things are being delivered to us, there is someone offering it, that is the trader, and someone that is buying, that is you and me, the consumer. If we all just transact without a regulation, people will make losses. Many times, actually, we consumers think that we can be, we are the ones that are cheated. But we've also found out instances where the traders have also been cheated because they're using equipment that has not been verified by the UNBS. So then, as we speak today, why is it important that we have the issue of measurements and the issue of accurate measurements as part of whatever that we do, especially in trade? And yes, the distinguished organizers of this discussion drew our attention to the role that the weights and measures play in making sure that there's consumer justice and protection. So why metrology is key and why accurate measurements is key is we must ensure fair trade. if you're the business person and you want to sell to us kilograms of products, be sure that it is actually that quantity. But also for me, as a consumer, if I come to your facility to buy, I should be able to buy and get value for money. I also want to draw your attention to the issue of, we all know that we've been blessed by oil in the Albertine region. If we do not monitor and measure accurately our resources, like the oil, we will be cheated. For you know it, we will not be able to gain from the economic value of the oil. But yes, thanks to metrology and weights and measures, we realize, and I want to speak to you, my colleagues, that the issue of weights and measures and metrology has been incorporated in the operations of government within the Albertine region. And UNBS has worked closely with the Petroleum Authority of Uganda to make sure that every barrel of oil will be measured. Value out of it is what we need to get from our natural resources. We also look at the incidences where wrong measurements or measurements that are associated with faulty equipment have caused accidents because maybe someone did not put in enough pressure in the tire as you set off a long journey, and then you get an accident. But also, I want to draw your attention to the products that we buy. And these are products that we call prepackaged products. The manufacturer packs these products in your absence. But when you get to the time of purchase, you will have that faith that actually if you go to buy the snacks and they are 500 grams, you're actually getting 500 grams. Who is always there to make sure that the way it has been packaged is accurate? That is UNBS. Why we do all this is to make sure that our consumers are safe. And at the end of the day, in case there is anyone, especially people in business, because for them, they are looking at many times, not all of them actually, but they look at how do I maximize my profits? You want to maximize your profits at the expense of me, the consumer. So UNBS comes in there very handy to make sure that actually this person is not cheating you. So, and that is what do we do? We send people in these factories to sample and test all the batches, because you've seen packaged bread, you've seen packaged, lately we also on social media, the issue of cement, it is already packed at the point of manufacturing and dispatching from the factory. So as the Bureau of Standards, we expect that this same quantity that has been issued out by the manufacturer is what you and me will find at the shop or at the hardware shop or in the supermarket or in our ordinary shops where you and me go to buy within our neighborhood. So the issue of density, the issue of volume, the issue of weight is key. Ladies and gentlemen, I know many of us here may be actually using gas for cooking. Or do we? I think so. When you go and buy that cylinder of gas, you know, that kind of confidence you have that you're buying one of 5 kgs, you're buying one of 8, you're buying one of 10. But have you ever asked yourself who was there anyway to make sure that that gas cylinder is actually weighing? The gas inside is weighing 5 kilograms, or it is the cylinder that is weighing 5 kilograms. So that is how this discussion is very critical, but the UNBS is always there where this is being packed in your absence to make sure that the pre-packed product that you eventually find on the market meets the weights and measures standards. I also want to draw your attention to the volume and flow. You know, we are all familiar with the fuel dispensers, because when you branch at a fuel station to fuel your car, for those of us here who are lucky and have cars, but even us who use bodas, or even then, this public transport, they fuel and they usually charge us according to the cost of the fuel. So if we have not verified that dispensing pump, and if you pay for a liter of petrol, a liter of diesel, you will pay more than what you are. You will pay more and then you receive less. That is not justice, I guess, Mr. Wambale. That is not justice. Yes? So how do you confirm then? We usually put verified stickers on these dispensing pumps. If you look at it, it has the date when the UNBS Inspector of Weights and Measures fixed that particular equipment and verified it. And then it will also have that due date, because we do this on an annual basis, and we must be able to reach every corner and every dispensing machine within the country. So we do it on an annual basis, and then we come back a second route to do to just find out that actually what we verified is what is being done. So I want to request you, if you're going to dispense at a fuel station, if you're in a motorcycle, if you're in maybe a public taxi or a bus, take keen interest so that at the end of the day, we are all not cheated, we get justice, and then we are protected as consumers, because yes, that is why the Bureau of Standards exists. Also, I want to draw your attention in the work that we do under weights and measures. You all know we have weight bridges across the country. And today we've been in Busoga sub-region. We are in Jinja. Actually, we've been speaking to people in Jinja, and they're telling us about sugarcane. Yeah, a farmer takes their products to weigh at the weigh bridge, and if it is not accurate, if it is not verified by the Bureau of Standards, they will be cheated. Just last year, we also got concerns from Toro, that is around Kamwenge, Fort Portal. They do a lot of tea. And the farmers were saying, no, these factories are cheating us. But they have web bridges that the Bureau verifies on an annual basis. What does this mean? If there is any complaint in any area, they've told me we are coming from across the country. You're from West Nile, you're from the East, you're from the West, you're from the Central. These concerns usually come out to us as the media fraternity. We are the link between government, regulators, and service providers and the public. You should be able to bring out this often, because yes, weigh my produce in my presence, and let me also look at the reading. Yes, this weigh bridge must be able to display the weight, because at the end of the day, the farmer is going to be paid per weight. So that is how critical issues of weights and measures are. And then also the issue of, if a car has been overloaded, the pressure that will be put on our infrastructure like the roads. There's a permissible level that a particular vehicle must load. So if they overload, then a lot of pressure is put on our roads, and then they'll wear out. So that is what's very important as well. So, and the fourth aspect I want to speak about is utilities. Utilities is very critical. Look at the UEDCL meters as we speak now. Who verifies them? UNBS. These meters are brought to us. We have a testing laboratory. It's actually within Boyogere. We confirm. We test for accuracy before they are installed in our homes, before they are installed in our factories. So that if you're paying for a particular unit of power, you get that particular unit of power. If there is any issue, and yes, Mr. Wambale, I think the next step we need to do is we will be able to bring my colleagues from the media for them to spend a day at the UNBS offices and look at how this is actually done, because it is real. It is science that is done by our very own sisters and brothers and relatives, and then they can be able to look at this vividly. So I also want to look at the issue of utilities like water. We are also going into that area. We are going into the area of verifying the water meters, because what we are looking at is how do you make sure that the person that is paying for particular amount of water is what they're actually getting. And lastly, but not least, is our very own. We are also familiar. We are also familiar with the weights and measures in terms of Mizani. Mizani. Yes. If you could flash and show them the different Mizans that I was able to share, then my colleagues could look at it. Because this is what many of us relate with, and the people within the community, this is what they relate with. So you'll find that sometimes we have equipment like these ones that they're not supposed to be used in trade. And if you find any of these weighing equipment here being used for trade, these are confiscated by the Bureau of Standards. That is why sometimes we are not so loved. People have complaints. Yeah? I think you say, why do you take our weighing scales? Why do you take our equipment? Why? But we are saying, if you find such equipment wherever we are, within our communities, these are actually not allowed to be used for trade. They are good. They will come in. They are supposed to be used for other things. Like you can use it to weigh bread inside your home. You can use it to weigh, like for people who have bakeries, like for people who have, who are in garden. And your intention is not to trade, not to transact. So if you want to transact, the Bureau has said such equipment should not be used. The reason is simple. You will cheat me and you, and yet I'll be using my money. Yeah, can you imagine if you buy a kilogram of some of us with children, they're at home, and you calculate and know, yes, this 5 days, 1 kilogram of sugar should be able to take us through. And somehow it's not happening. The reason is simple. Someone has cheated you somewhere. Yeah, so I think prepackaged, I have already talked about that. But I also want to draw your attention to the utilities. We have talked about that. The partner approvals, we've talked about that. Yes, you could continue. I also want to draw your attention how the UNBS handles the issue of weights and measures. We usually work with mechanics. So when the UNBS inspection team comes to your area, they will come and stage. And when we come, we will call people. We make public announcements and invite them to come and bring their products and bring their equipment for verification. It is a requirement. And I will ask you to allow me share something. Oh yes, I want to share something with the team on Are you able to see my screen? Are you seeing it?
Yes, we can see.
Yes, please.
Okay, you can see that extract of the fees, because why I wanted to share this with you members, it's an area of contention within our communities. When the UNBS team comes on ground to do verification, they are supposed to display this. They are supposed to display this. They are supposed to display this. And then if you're having a counter machine, you will pay this fee here. If you looked at it, the highest amount of money someone should be paying is around 30,000. And this is money that goes to government of Uganda. It must be at worst receipted, but you can also do online transactions whereby you pay directly to URA. So many times, I don't know about you members, but I get calls from members of the public that someone is overcharging me. Someone is making me pay 200. That money is not for UNBS verification. That money is maybe paid to a mechanic, because as we do this work, as someone brings their equipment for verification and we find that it is faulty, and when it is faulty, it needs to be repaired. And if it needs to be repaired, then there are mechanics within the premises where we do the verification exercise from that will be able to give you that service, and they will offer it to you at a fee. And that fee is not for UNBS. That fee is for the repair for your weighing scale or weighing equipment. Otherwise, members and my colleagues, I want to request you that this information we are able to share with our communities, we are able to share with our relatives, we are able to disseminate extensively so that no one of us is cheated, but also no one should stay back when the UNBS moves around giving, making these announcements and calling upon people to voluntarily submit their equipment. This should be an activity that many of us should really appreciate and come and cooperate. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have used up my time. My parting shot, or as I conclude, yes, the issue of weights and measures is very critical. Very critical because, one, it speaks to your safety, you as a consumer, and myself as well as a consumer. But the other aspect is we must facilitate trade. Countries develop through trade. And because countries develop through trade and our economies, then we must be in charge of the accuracy of this measurement. This measurement is very critical. Weights and measures is is part of us. You can imagine. I know he set for me time. Use 30 minutes. Have I used 30 minutes, Mr. Bwambale? I don't know. If I've not used the 30 minutes, that means I've cheated someone. A resource. So if you cannot measure it, don't buy it. Everything must be measured. Why? Because we do not want unfair trade, but most importantly, consumer protection. I submit, Mr. Moderator and colleagues, for now, as I await any questions that I should be able to respond to. Thank you so very much for listening to me.
Wow, thank you, Sylvia, so much for really sharing with us. I mean, I had never known that you can have these weighing scales you've been showing. They're not supposed to be used in trade, and that's what we have in my village. So like every shop in my village uses that, so I didn't know that these ones are prohibited for use in trade. I mean, I picked interest in how the meters for electricity and water could be calibrated. One would think that, well, I have a meter, but I mean, I thought it's national water. But you see that the standards come in there. So if at all a consumer is cheated from the electricity side, we know probably whom to run to if at all our meters are not doing well. Of course, I don't know, but I find this very, very exciting for me. And of course, coming from the health sector, I am more familiar there. These colleagues on this call, I told you sometime that when we are giving you medication in the hospitals, we rely on your body weight. So usually, when you come to the hospital, we take your body weight. And this body weight is not necessarily to just check whether you are heavy or not. Our interest is that we use the body weight to compute the dosage that we are going to give to you. So if you have to take 3 tablets or 2 or half of a tablet, it is dependent on body weight. So imagine a weighing scale in the hospital which is faulty, and then it is telling the consumer that you are 100 kilograms. And so we end up giving you medicines for someone of 100 kilograms instead of medicine for somebody. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Now I am now going to raise some questions in the chat, which I have populated here, but also I will give time for colleagues to ask questions or also give their comments. So the first question, maybe Sylvia, you will take note of the first 5 questions, and then you'll come in to respond to the questions. Now let me first show you these 4 that are in the chat, then I will give the hands. So number 1 is, someone is asking then, how do we get bags of cement with less weight if you people are verifying and certifying these products and yet they have your logos? So someone is wondering why we should be able to have cement that is not equal to 50 kgs, even when we see your logo there, but also we see the UNBS Q mark. I think that is the question. So Sylvia will be able to respond to this. And then one also says, on issues of weights and measures, there are some traders who deal in buying plastics and metallic scraps from local people in villages. But when you look at their weighing machines, the minzani, they also look like scraps. The UNBS inspect those weighing machines. So looking at these guys of the who are collecting plastics and who are collecting scrap, they're also measuring. So the person is wondering whether these minzani of those guys are also being inspected by the UNBS, because in themselves they look at, the weighing scale is in itself looking like scrap. So how is UNBS dealing with that? I mean, that is someone's other question that I grabbed from the chat. And then someone is saying, what should we do to those who don't balance the weighing machine? As some, I think you wanted to say you want to buy 1 kilogram, but actually it is half. So what should we do to those guys who don't balance their weighing scales? Okay, from Mbale, someone is saying that, but now in Mbale and Bugisu, the weighing scales you are showing are the ones being used. So he also remembers that his colleague was cheated using this kind of weighing scales after going to purchase P1G, okay, that animal for Catholics and other Christians. So someone was wondering then whether what is happening, because in Bugisu, just like in my area, these are the weighing scales we're using. So how do we deal with that circumstance? Okay, so those are the quick 4 questions I first picked for round 1, but I can also take up a hand from Joyce such that we make 5 questions, and then we can have responses from Sylvia, and then I can pick another round of questions. Yes, Joyce, please unmute your microphone and then proceed with your question. Joyce, go on. Joyce Namugambe. Okay, I don't know that Joyce, you're there. Okay, Joyce, I can't hear from you, and yet I've given you a microphone to speak. Maybe I should pick on another person. Oh, let me see. Oh, Henry, could you kindly enable Joyce to unmute? She has written a message that she can't unmute herself.
It is unmuted.
Yes, Joyce. Joyce, are you there? Okay. Maybe let me see. Kansi make clever. Kansi make clever.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm fine. First and foremost, I want to thank Madam Sylvia for the educative talk that she has given it to us. But I have one single question. Like, if I buy a cement or a bag of posho that is almost 7 kgs or even more or less than the stipulated figure or the number of kilograms the bag it should hold, should I be able to return it back? Or if not, who should be the line to enforce me being compensated?
Thank you, Clever. So basically, where do I report? Thank you so much, Clever. So I hope Sylvia has taken that, and let me hear now from Joyce.
Yes, I'm back now. Thank you so much. And thank you, Sylvia, for the presentations. And I'm wondering where the challenge is. If by all the information you've given us, then where is the challenge, and why is people continuing to cheat even when the regulations are there? I've heard of petrol stations that people continuously comment that when you go to that petrol station, and if people are continuing to comment that way, should we assume UNBS doesn't know about it? And if it knows, then why are these petrol stations continuing with such the act? And then number 2, about the cement. If, Sylvia, you say you verify the products before you give them your logo, and I believe from the factory, that's when you start inspecting these things. Should we assume you just give them the logos after they pack and they don't take the steps to weigh and confirm the weight as it is indicated on the packages, or you just give them the logo after they've packed and you don't go back to weigh with them? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joyce. I hear you loud. Bakubambe wawe Kampala batukubambe wao. So it's very important to, well, I think we shall get responses, but also this could be feedback. This could also be feedback to Sylvia, such that when she's negotiating with the colleagues at the UNBS, this could be some pointers when you're discussing with your colleagues. Colleagues who are putting up their hands, kindly first hold up there. Don't put them down. let us first get some of the responses quickly from Sylvia. Then I can pick another round of 5. Yeah, thank you. Sylvia, respond, please.
Thank you so much, colleagues, for these questions. And Mr. Wambale, if you could flash back, when you had the questions written down, I became lazy. I didn't note them down, those that were written. Could you flash them back? So I first respond to those, then I'll respond to the other 2 that were raised in the discussion.
You could look at the first 4 questions, which are in black, then we shall reflect on the other. But the first question was about the bags of cement, which are weighing less. So the question is, yeah.
Yes. So then how do we get the bags of cement less weight if you people are verified and certified? It's a very interesting question, and I don't know, is the echo coming from me or from somewhere?
No, let me just mute everybody so that you could proceed.
Okay. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, my colleagues, let me explain to you this issue of the bag of cement. When I was explaining what the UNBS does for what I called prepackaged products. Prepackaged products are those products that are packed at the manufacturer's premises in your absence, you and me as consumers. But the Weights and Measures Act and the regulation on prepackaged control gives us the authority to go and verify in your absence. And this we do. And we do it at least, that's the bare minimum, twice a year. And for this particular issue of cement, when we verify at the factory, and I want to exhaustively speak about the cement issue because it came out many times. And of course, we know we had it even on social media. Cement, for the starter, is a very expensive business. Not everyone can invest in it. And that's why you see we have just around 7 manufacturers that are dealing in cement that we have certified. So their systems are intact. This I can attest to it because even recently, our teams went back. So after the cement has been sealed, automatically sealed, and in a factory, as part of the requirements of UNBS, you are supposed to agree on to have weighing scales that have been calibrated by UNBS. It's a requirement for you to get a quality mark. I mean, you cannot get the UNBS quality mark without that. Yeah. So without any doubt, I'll speak. And maybe Mr. Abwambale, these are some of the resolutions we need to agree on as the Media League, yeah, as we grow this product, for us to collaborate and see if it is possible we could have an arrangement to take our colleagues to some of these places for an inspection, and, seeing is believing. When they leave the factory, there are people who are in distribution, the distributors, the transporters. This cement is loaded on the trucks, transported from wherever, Kasese, Tororo, Jinja, to that final destination. A third party is introduced. When they reach the hardware shop or warehouse, this is offloaded and stored in that premise. Another third party. That is now person number 3. When the hardware director or owner finishes all that, they start now distributing this. People come and buy. So there are those people who are rich enough, who are on big sites, they will come and buy in bulk and deliver their sites. Many times those people don't get challenges, but also there are middlemen that me and you who are building at a small scale will use. Maybe a border man takes your car bag of cement as they are moving. There is a lot of connivance, and this is evidence. Members, this is evidence. We are even prosecuting people as I speak now in the courts of law. People we have found siphoning and opening bags of cement after someone at the site has finished removing the cement. Say, kola bulungi nnyo nnyo nnyo, toyuza ne bakalaba. So they are so lenient. They get empty bags and refill. After refilling, this same cement gets back on the market. I don't know how. You also don't know how. But these are criminal actions that are happening within our society. It's a fact. These are criminal things that are happening within our society, and we have seen some of these things happen. Some of them are even our relatives, you know. When that happens, to you who is unsuspecting, they will sell to you that bag of cement. Or in any case, they will work with a small, because now, like, if you look at the villages, we don't have hardware shops in all the villages. The hardware shop sells to another person, then another person, then sells to another person, then that other person then brings it next to you where you'll buy it. So when the product is exchanging hands, we cannot guarantee the ethics, and these are business ethics of all those people along the value chain. There is a compromise. And that compromise goes to the moral decadence of our society that we as members of the Fourth Estate must bring out. Because the UNBS will not be there where these people are doing all this. They are hiding. Maybe someone has actually even committed work for this person. You've got you've given them a tender, you've given them the job, and they're just cheating you. So I want us to have that same sense of what is it that is happening in our society. And yes, as Consent has put it this afternoon, we are speaking about consumer justice. We are speaking about realizing consumer justice and protection. Me as the consumer myself, I have a right to protect and guard myself about these criminal people within my society. But also, as the person buying this product, I have a responsibility. I want to call upon us as the Fourth Estate to arise the issue of consumer responsibility, because even us as consumers have responsibilities. Question it. If, and now, when all this happened, we issued a directive. All hardware houses or shops to have a calibrated weighing scale. And when we were speaking to the manufacturers, they said, you see, we can only account for the authorized dealers, because when these products are coming to the market, they deal with authorized dealers. I don't know if members, you've seen those signposts somewhere. Authorized distributor of such and such, authorized deal of this and this, because we are trying to bring responsibility and traceability. Who is the person causing us trouble? You go to an authorized distributor, they must have a weighing scale. You weigh your cement and confirm that it is not measuring up to 50 kilograms. If it is not, report. We must report and expose. Let us expose those people who are doing criminal things within the distribution system. I guarantee you the support of UNBS, if it is the manufacturers, if it is those people that you have been able to bring to our attention. And if they also know that the community is so sensitized and aware and resisting it, this will not go on. Question 2. Weights and measures. There are some traders who deal in buying plastics, metallic scraps from local people in the village. But when you look at the weighing scales, for the weighing scales, colleagues, whether it is if it is a ganya, if I may borrow the new word that the Ministry of Works is now using, operation what? Ganya. If the machine is really in a filthy state, it is not allowed, it is condemned. Because we move, at least for weights and measures, government of Uganda has given us resources. These people move and comb all corners of this country. So if that machine is there, please, I'm going to give you our toll-free number, and many of you have it, but also engage. Let's work with civil society, like a consent that has come out to help us amplify this voice. And we raise this issue because I said, for as long as you're using a weighing scale to transact, to trade, you cannot use an equipment that is not verified by UNBS. The same thing you see on the road. If you drive from a field or from somewhere in your garden or somewhere, no one will catch you. The moment you bring your car on the road, the traffic officer is there to stop you. So for as long as this person is transacting, is trading, fairness in trade is a must under the Weights and Measures Act. And yes, colleagues, if this is happening, please report it. We shall take it on. The third question was to do with what should we do to those who don't balance the weighing machines? And some tell it is a kg, kumbe it is half. Yes, when we verify the weighing scale, we also verify the standards. Getuita amayinja. Because amayinja, that is the standard. It is either half a kg, 1 kg, whatever kg. So when someone is giving you, and I think here, Mr. Bwambale, we need to do demonstrations. I'm looking forward to the recommendations of this, where some of these things should be, can commit time as UNBS through our different offices, and we do simple demonstrations for our colleagues in the media to see, and we raise that awareness. I think it's something that we can come up as a team that is on call. I see we are more than 80 people here. If that is something that we can agree to do, we will do these demonstrations. And then there's in Mbale City. Yes, actually this week I was in Mbale. We were in Bukedi and Bugisu, and people have raised the issue of the POCO joints, that they are terrible, and all these machines that we've been showing are used. And I want to tell you that among our resolutions for the team to do is for us to do that Kamini operation on POCO joints, because I mean, it has come out, and this is now the 6th time it is coming out. But yes, this equipment is prohibited. If someone is going to buy that delicious whatever, let them weigh it correctly so that our people are not cheated. I was supposed to end at 4 and then add on the question from Clever, and it was also on cement, which I have already addressed. And then from my sister Joyce Okukube Mpeo. Let me tell you a trick, Joyce. When our teams go to verify dispensing machines for fuel, first thing for it to look out is that machine verified? The sticker will be there. And if you did, if you go back, you can do a random sample and look at most of the dispensing machines around you. You'll find a UNBS sticker there. And when you get there, there are 2 tricks. You will see a fuel price at the board. There are those signages, you know. They'll tell you petrol 6 something, then diesel 6 something. So sometimes people tend to buy fuel in terms of money, not in quantity. We need to start buying fuel in quantity, not in money. Why? You go to a petrol station, ntekeramu ag'ettaano, tekeramu emitwalo 2. How will you measure that? Let us start buying fuel in liters, in quantities, because today we are speaking about weights and measures. At least if you forget anything, please don't forget that. You buy it in quantity, the same way you say, give me a half kilogram of rice or sugar. So go and say, give me a half a liter of petrol. And then you know it will take you from where I'm seated now in Jinja, maybe to Mbiko. Because when you buy in quantities, you are able to estimate the consumption of your vehicle, of your motorcycle, or whatever that you're using. But when you start buying in terms of money, money changes. Today, they will display Kakaga Mubitan. The next day, they will display something less or more. The other trick happens at the dispensing machine itself. Colleagues, you've seen where they write when you move closer to where that fuel pump attendant is. There's always the amount of money put. So what happens when you go there and you do not concentrate? And then for people who drive, they will lower down their glasses, say, then you go back to your phone and start chatting through TikTok. You're assuming that the other person is doing what? Is fueling for you. These are tricks that fuel pump attendants also do, depending on who has come. And that's why I'm saying, let us be responsible consumers. So they will see you not paying attention. They will put in less. And for you will think that you have actually got all that you have paid for, when you've not. When someone has cheated you because, one, you were not observant. I want to give you another trick. If Mr. Bwambale has gone just at the petrol station, he bought his fuel of 50,000 and they were maybe 3 liters. Now for you, Joyce, you come and you want to fuel for 100,000 and you're not paying attention. The the pump attendant can play you a trick. And if they see that you do not want to look there, they can start from the 3 liters that Wambale took, they will add for you. So they will add in a few up to the amount that you've talked about. You will drive away thinking you have bought fuel worth that, but bayongereza on what Mr. Wambale has taken. So what am I saying? When you go to a fuel station starting today, after our discussion, make sure that that meter is reading 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Then start measuring from there. But how many of us have been taking note of that? I'm not so sure all of us have been doing that. You just say put in. So someone will start. The machine has been moving. You're not paying attention whether it is in 0, 0. Then they start from where it had ended. And then for you, they will stop thinking all that fuel has been given to you. Ngomwana akukubye empewo. Not that it is the machine that is the kukube empewo. The user of the machine akukube empewo. I submit for this first segment, Mr. Bwambale.
Thank you, Sylvia. You've nailed these things. I mean, it's many times, Mr. Chimera, we move a lot, and then you're like, okay, mbaye cha video. So sometimes, but I think because we are sensitive consumers, we say, okay, right there the liters as well. But I think it's a common practice that when we are buying fuel, it's usually the money. So I think it's very critical, ladies and gentlemen, that we become very responsive consumers. Otherwise, we shall continually be cheated. But also, I'd never thought that I could check for a sticker of UNBS, at the Mafuta. I have not thought about it. And I think now it's common, it's now very clear to us that even at those fuel stations, if I want to write my story or my article, I need to, first of all, check there logically if these things exist anyway. So we're going to pick another round of questions. I see only 2 hands. So we're going to get from Caesar. And then after Caesar, we listen in from Edward. We just have 18 minutes to end this call. Of course, there are also other 3 questions that are on the screen there. I'm also going to pick others, which we shall close with. I have checked on YouTube, and someone is sharing a question. Is asking which is heavier, 1 kilogram or 800 grams? I don't know what the question means, but I know Sylvia would understand it technically. But someone is asking now, 1 kilogram and 800 grams, which one is heavier? I don't know what that question seems to insinuate, but that is a question I'm getting from the colleagues who are watching on the YouTube. So Caesar, please unmute, and then you raise your question or comment, and then after, Edward, you come in. Caesar Draza. Okay, if Caesar is not there, maybe Henry, are we able to give him the microphone? I think that is one of the challenges. Caesar, are you there? Unmute and speak to us.
Yes, thank you very much. Are you getting me?
Yes, please go on. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sylvia, for that great presentation. I'm following it from South Africa. I'm a Ugandan, currently doing food science here. About maybe things around weight, there's what it's more like a comment. Maybe Sylvia will add about things around gross and net weight. So I wanted to make a comment around there, because it's true that you can have a product, the weight maybe, let's say 1 liter, but you find that there is an aspect around the net and the gross weight. So people also need to understand that before we kind of say, oh, this is a wrong product and all that. So that small difference that may come in, maybe that is not allowed completely, but probably you will make a comment about that. But also another comment that I wanted to add is about those machines that were shared there, the weighing scales, which is actually, I think, based on what I've heard from other people, it's a common thing that is being used across the nation. So, for example, my pop place, Arua Market, you find it being used. It's what actually is being used completely. So I don't know exactly which one is supposed to be used. And maybe is there a specific one that is supposed to be used? And how do you identify that our traders are actually using the correct one? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Caesar, and thank you for calling in from South Africa. I don't know whether you're in Durban or in Cape or in Johannes, but glad to have you on the call. Let's now listen in from Edward. Edward, you can unmute.
Okay, thank you, Bernard, and the whole team. Now, my question goes to Sarah. I have two scenarios. Now, the first one is on fuel. Sarah, now I'm happy that I'm blessed that I'm riding. So you have seen that there are some fuel stations you go to. Let's say you say, give me fuel of 20,000. When they are starting to give you fuel, they will have that, okay, they will have the liters and the price can sprint, eh? So it can sprint within a second, it's in 5,000. Then the speed lowers. I think that's something people should interest in yourself in and see. Then the other thing is, when we are talking about weight, I want to use an example of Nomi. It's a detergent. When you buy a bigger one, a bigger bucket, they put there a cup. That cup is put there as if they are trying to say thank you. But in my understanding, it is reducing on the quality, meaning on the quantity. So when that cap is put there, it's not put there upside down that even some detergent can go in that cap. No, it is covered that when you remove it, there is no any other, there's no detergent that went there. So when you see that the space covered by that cap, that is, to me, that is cheating a client. So as these people are assuming they are rewarding a customer for buying that, but that cap is for 5,000, meaning yes, just 500 or 1,000. So I think you should also interest yourself in those things, because they see they are cheating customers in the name of rewarding them, because they can see that what can be covered is more than the cap, that detergent. Thank you so much. I beg you to submit.
Thank you, Edward. I hear you. So they are gifting us, but also at the same time, maybe I'm assuming that should be not computed from the net weight. I don't know, but that is a concern I see, that you have something that is weighing some bit of quantity, and then you're putting it in maybe say 1 kilogram. But what is the quantity of that cup? Could it not be increasing the quantity of Yeah, and it was very interesting to also learn that. But also the mafuta thing you're talking about, it's a little bit crazy. That in the first 1 minute, the thing is running very quickly, and then it starts going, So that's nice to note, and I know Sylvia has an experience in that as well. She'll be sharing with us. Now, let me take the last question. Joyce, such that I project those which have been in the chat, and then probably we call it a day. Joyce, is that a new hand? Joyce, you can unmute.
Yes. Thank you so much. There are some echo. So I wanted to briefly ask Susan to please talk about the sand delivery. There's a way these people can load their vehicle for the sand. When they leave, before they get to the delivery station, there's a way these people offload the sand, and they bring sand which is not as much as it was before they were leaving that location. I wonder if someone has ever noticed that, because sometime back I was traveling and the car parked somewhere, and we saw men on the truck busy offloading the sand. They kept it somewhere and then drove ahead. They went, delivered the sand, and then on returning, they put back the sand they had offloaded, then went back to where they were going. I wonder if people have noticed this. There's a way people are being cheated on these sites. Those people with the sand, because for them, they don't even have the logo for UNBS. How are these people regulated?
Joyce, you raise interesting things here. So, okay, let me not comment there. Let me quickly give Sylvia to respond to those questions, and then I will be, by the time she finishes that in a minute or two, I will be able then to flash those which are in the chat. So Sylvia, please come in, and maybe in a minute or two respond to those as I share these ones on the screen.
Thank you for the questions, my colleagues. It's a very interesting discussion this afternoon. I think I'm equally impressed at the rate at which we are discussing this. There was that sarcastic question on YouTube of 800 grams versus 1 kilogram. Colleagues, we all know that 1 kilogram is it's accumulation of grams. So definitely 800 grams are less than 1 kilogram. If I remember my mathematics very well, but yes, Mr. Wambale here, you can help, but it is. And then Caesar from South Africa, yes, he talked about the gross weight and net weight. The gross weight, and then this also ties in the question from my colleague who raised about the detergents. With the gross weight, they also weigh the weight of the packaging material. So it is a total weight of the product as well as the packaging material. But on that particular package, they will indicate the net weight. And our interest as UNBS is the net weight. Now the net weight is the actual weight of the product that you're buying. And the two are different. And as a labeling requirement for UNBS, this must be indicated so that the consumer knows. So when you buy a big bucket of detergent, you're also buying the bucket, but they are charging you. You are buying the product at the indicated net weight on the label, not the gross weight. Interesting one from my sister about regulating the sand sector and matofali. I don't know where we shall end, but yes, it's an interesting area. This I'll have to take back to our technical experts at the Bureau of Standards and see if it's an area that we could look at regulating. For now, we are not regulating that sector. They are licensed by the local government authorities, and I mean, business is transacted without UNBS intervention. But it's an interesting area. This feedback I will take back to my bosses and the engineers that and the physicists that are into this whole aspect of weights and measures. But yes, and since we are speaking about consumer protection and justice, Mr. Wambale, the issue of the society where all this is taking place, that is an ethical issue. If someone has gone to the other place and they've loaded the sand and he has paid for that amount of money, then you reach on the way, you reduce, you are a criminal. It has nothing to do with UNBS and standards. We are dealing with a criminal offense here. Yeah, so I mean, these are things that we need to take on as a society. Our morals are really decayed, and I mean, UNBS cannot regulate people's ethics and morals, but together, you and me, and with the Bureau, we can work towards creating a community that is sensitive and with a quality culture in all this. Yes, so now drawing me back to the blue ones. There's a complaint that vendors have different weighing stones that they put from the weighing machine. Yes, this is again going back to our ethics. After UNBS has verified the equipment, including the standards, actually those stones are the standards because that is the actual kilogram, that is the actual half kilogram. So that is the standard, yeah? But because of moral decadence, whereby they want to cheat you, I mean, UNBS cannot scout everyone, but you and me are everywhere. Vigilance is what I request for colleagues. Let us educate our community members about consumer vigilance. Because we will enforce, we will do that, but at the end of the day, the business community has a role to play. And when they know that you and me as a consumer, we do not mind, we just pay, they will play all these tricks on us. Most products on the market don't weigh the exact weight they are written on the weighing. That is not true. Those that do not weigh as such, complaints are brought to us and we take them on. Members, let's start reporting these things to UNBS, but also speaking out in the communities where we are buying and purchasing these products. Because as I said, the package control procedures that the UNBS inspectors undertake at the premises, at the manufacturer's premises, they have calibrated weighing equipment, and those things are weighed before we give them the quality mark, before we allow them to pack. So that at the factory level is being done. But if there are any negligences along the way, let us collaborate and we shall bring this to an end. Regulation cannot end That's why you see we are always there, you and me, even when we know that we've done our part. We have the market surveillance team that is supposed to help us with this. But for me, I actually take pride in the formidable force of the consumers, of an enlightened consumer is the best standards inspector we can ever find. Sylvia, could you be able to receive the soft copy of your presentation? Yes, I will surely do. Why are some items like honey measured in kilograms instead of liters, even when they are a liquid? This is an interesting one. I'll raise it with my experts. But yes, what we must undertake is there should be a measurement. Whether it's a kilogram or it's a liter, it should be measured. And when it is measured, you're sure you're not being cheated. In 2023, all businesses in Adjumani town, we asked to take their scales to the town council for readjustment. We took it and it was adjusted, but still others disorganized it. So how can such be solved? Secondly, are there specific offices in districts that deal with these issues? Yes, for Adjumani, the nearest office of UNBS is in Lira. I'll be able to share with you the contact of the in charge for Lira office dealing in weights and measures. But yes, as I said, UNBS conducts 2 trips. The first trip is a safari that is made and it is voluntary. We call people, bring your weighing scales, we verify them. People come, line up, we spend a whole day there. The next day we go to the next site, we go to the next venue, we verify voluntarily. For those that resist and do not cooperate, we go back again. And this time when we go back is when we find those that hide and do not come for the voluntary verification. That is when they will have those machines confiscated, but it is not our work to confiscate. We confiscate because of non-compliant retailers and business people. Even at wholesale shops, they weigh less. How can UNBS help the exploited consumer like me? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Which one is weighing? This wasn't so, it was not so elaborate, but yes, as I said, you have a right to weigh, to reweigh your product before you buy it. For example, I think members, you've seen these days that some shops, you go there and you ask for sugar and then they give you sugar in a white Kavera saying this is a kilogram. And you also just pick and take home. For example, who was there when that person was weighing the kilogram? When you ask them why, I'm saving time. My customers don't want to line up. It is wrong. If you've weighed and I am not there as the consumer and even UNBS was not there, weigh it again for me. Because it is me who is demanding and paying for it. If people stop buying such things, the retailers and the business community will also stop. So an empowered consumer is the best standards inspector. I repeat again. Supermarket items like sugar, rice, all weigh less. If you have this evidence, please share it. Because I tried to explain this from the onset. Pre-package control is undertaken at the manufacturer's premises. If you find it and you wait and it is less, please let's take that, get that feedback. We shall undertake a verification. And yes, I requested Mr. Wambale here and Mr. Chimera, if we can organize something like that for our journalists to go and see all these things by themselves and witness, maybe it will be something very nice. In Mbale industrial area, such weighing scales are cheating maize farmers who come from low areas because they have no knowledge about how they function and they do not have a UNBS verification sticker. Please, I live with you my contacts here, but I also until now for Mbale, there is an office opposite Cure Hospital. As you come, that is along Mbale Kampala Highway. The UNBS office is there and they do weights and measures. Let us help each other. If there is any criminality that is taking place among our business community as consumers, for us to get consumer justice, for us to get all these redresses, report, demand. That is why UNBS is there, but also you as the consumer, let's work together. I will not get tired to remind you, colleagues, for us to work together, because our society, the ethics, the business ethics are really very low, not the standards. It is the business ethics. I do not know whether UNBS is aware that there are some scrupulous, mostly meat sellers, who grind the weighing scale stones to reduce. Yes, this one I talked about it, because yes, those things we are calling stones are actually the standards. Why is that the local authorities and UN feel reluctant to supervise and inspect weighing scales? Last experienced this in Masindi over 10 years. It is not correct. It is not correct, my colleague who raised the issue of Masindi, because UNBS moves twice a year in every district of Uganda. But Mr. Wambale, for me to confirm this, you'll get the details of the person who raised it. When I get back to office on Monday, I ask my colleagues who are in charge of Bunyoro. They will share with me the details of the safaris they've made in Bunyoro and in which particular areas did they go to, so that my colleague can know that it cannot happen in 10 years, not even 1 year. Because yes, it is a statutory obligation for the UNBS, and we cannot do that. How often do the regulatory body make inspections in these companies? For companies, as I told you, for the company to get UNBS certification mark, they must verify their weights. And this is done at least twice a year. Every after 6 months, this is done. How often do the regulatory body make inspections in the companies? I think I have responded to that. Please, my concern is about the weighing scales of pork. We are bad loaf. Yes, I had spoken about pork before, and this is an issue that has come out, and we are going to do a special program to see that the pork joints comply and stop using weighing equipment that has been prohibited for trade. Mr. Bwambale, I submit.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. You've really done us well. You've nailed all the questions. I was worried there were so many, but I love the fact that you've responded to over 30 questions. Great to hear from you and for sharing with us. And colleagues, thank you so much for raising these questions. Thank you for raising these concerns. Thank you for sharing your experiences, and thank you so much for attending this conversation. Of course, as usual, we shall keep bringing colleagues to speak with you, responding to the so many other concerns that you've been sharing with us. I request all of us to put our hands together and appreciate Sylvia for sharing with us. I think she deserves flowers as usual. Could we kindly offer her the flowers? Thank you, guys. Now we are going to the end of our conversation. There are so many other issues in the chat. I will be able to download them again and share with everybody, especially the UNBS team. We always download these comments and share them so that they help you in your programming at those other levels. So we are really honored for sharing with us your time, but also for ensuring that our media personnel are able to receive this information from the horse's mouth. We are glad that Sylvia has been able to give us all this time. Now, we come to the end of today's session. We have only 2 things to go. One is that I request all of you go to the chat and pick the registration link. Kindly let us register as usual, as you know the role of that registration. Kindly go to the chat. 6 minutes after 4, Henry shared the attendance form. Kindly tap on it and register. Number 2, as we are registering, I request all of you, having understood or having gone through this session for 1 hour and a half or so, I request that you just in a chat, let us know what you can do at your levels. What are the quick things that you can do to make sure that this information is useful to you and also to your community? It would be nice for us to receive that kind of feedback or that kind of commitment from us. If you don't mind, kindly go to the chat, just drop us what you think you can do following this information. Yeah, would be glad to receive that. And then as we do that, I want to inform you that your previous certificates are being circulated on your emails. I saw a list of some of you who have already received your certificates, and Asha is still sending to each one of you individually on your emails. But at least we've seen a couple of you receive their certificates for Safer Internet. So thank you guys for taking your time and for ensuring that you attend those series. Your certificates are ready, and Asha will be sharing them with you on your emails. I know today she was able to send, I think, to 30 of you. Now that you are 200 plus, she's also trying her best to make sure that each one of you receive their certificate. The team is done analyzing your articles for those who are able to put up articles for Safer Internet, and I think they have finalized the process. The colleagues who have taken the awards will be notified, and then they will be awarded their awards. For consumer justice, we agreed that again, those who will finish the sessions on consumer protection and justice, which I'll give you your certificates, but also those who are writing articles, you'll again receive your awards. For now, we agreed that each one of us is going to write at least 5 articles, because these are 8 sessions. So we thought that each one of us could come up with maybe 5 articles, or maybe even if there are programs on your radios, we can be able to receive your audios. But at least each one of us, out of the 8 sessions, at least we expect that you can come up with 5 products. And remember, we are going to close the consumer justice and protection. We are only left with 2 sessions. So before we can introduce the other interesting subject again. So your 5 products are expected with Asha, such that you become a beneficiary of these awards. We don't want to fail to award you. So please, your articles will be very, very critical, and I think that will be very, very important for us. Now, having given you those remarks, I have already told you about the front of pack warning labels, and now I want to invite Mr. Chimera to kindly come and give us the closing remarks, with assumptions that you guys are busy registering, but also sharing your commitments. What are we going to do to the communities after receiving this information? It would be glad to receive this. So thank you so much, colleagues, and I end my moderation here. I want to call Henry to come and give us the closing remarks, such that we can leave for today. Please register as Henry gives us the remarks. Over to you, Henry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wambale. That was great. And I would like to thank our facilitator today. I'm sorry about the noise. I'm in transit, so there is a lot of activity here at the airport. I would like to thank a lot our facilitator today. You have greatly given us a wealth of information, given us insights into the National Bureau of Standards. And I would like to thank you. And I've liked the plea you've given the Fourth Estate. Please, you are the ears, the mouth, the voice, the eyes. Please speak out on behalf of the public. Then, Madam Chirabo, you have requested that we can do a webinar on demonstrating the comparative testing, all the weights and measures. That one we can arrange, and we can be in, we can see how we do an hybrid webinar on that. So I look forward to the planning of that webinar. But more of all, I would like to thank you all colleagues for speaking up, joining in, asking these rich questions. Most of the times, we might think that we are knowledgeable of something, but we find that the practice that says differently. So colleagues, your putting of time to come and learn is greatly appreciated. So I would look forward to being with you on the 7th of September. We will be looking at consumers for clean air, and that day is the International Day for Clean Air. We will be sharing with you the link, and I would like most of you in the media, you live in the society, you know things that are polluting our air. So get ready for that and be in a position to share your experiences with regards to the quality of air. There are standards on quality of air. So today, what you have learned, all in the 3 series, the other time on the 4th, we had standards, how the role of standard in realizing consumer justice and protection. It is out of that session that the weights and measures has come on board. But the next one, we will be looking at air quality, and it will be the International Day of Clean Air. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is quite a lot that we are learning gradually, and I will appreciate seeing you putting it in practice. I would like to thank Mr. Bwambale also for having led us through the curtain rising with regards to the front of the pack, the nutrient profiling model, what role it is playing, and why the front of the pack. It is going to be another standard in regards to food labeling, and I trust by the time we finish a number of series on it, you'll be in position to know a lot about standards, to know about labeling and the healthy diet. So, Mr. Bwambale, too, thank you very much for doing that curtain riser. To all our partners, I would like to thank you. You, the media lead. Personnel in your our partners supporting this initiative at Consumers International and FF. So, colleagues, I wish you a superb weekend, and let's link up the next Monday, but 1 on 7th September. All the best. Cheers.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you. Kindly, Chirabo, share the UNBS toll-free line in the chat. Someone is asking for it before they could leave the call. And I see a lot of commitments that are done by our colleagues online. Thank you, comrades, for bringing out all these commitments. Some of you are promising to have radio shows. I see someone saying, I'm going to write the stories. I am going to educate my community as far as measurements are concerned. I will use my social media channels to encourage fellow consumers to be keen. Someone is saying they are going to put up a story. I can do stories, both online and radio, as well as a radio program. This is very good. Thank you, colleagues. Let me see. We need to keep up the conversation by writing and discussing with all our platforms. Thank you, Aribo. I can ensure to encourage neighbors to always confirm with shopkeepers. Thank you. I will use a 30 minutes segment of my morning show on Delta FM Soroti on Monday to create awareness on this topic. Well, thank you, guys. This is very good. From Mumbere, thank you. I think on our side as journalists, we can start writing stories and Ugandans be aware of these things. I'll advocate through my social media handles. Wow, great. Thank you guys. So many interesting commitments that I see in the chat. And I'll be glad to read your articles. I'll be glad to insinuate Mr. Chimera to give us some money to give you some awards. I'll be great to see you again come next on the 7th, where we are talking about another sensitive matter on consumers and clean air. Kindly pick the UNBS toll-free line in the chat such that we can have it, and also you can share it on your media pages, but also on your radio stations, so that people can start having conversations with UNBS. Call the UNBS when there's a complaint, when there's a concern, or you want a comment in your writing. At consent, we shall be willing to give you the comments. We shall also be willing to share with you more details as much as you need. Just drop us a call and we can be able to give you audience, but also give you information whenever you need it. Reach out to Asha. If you cannot reach out to her, reach out to me. Usually Asha connects us to you, so it's easy for you to reach out to her in your groups, or speak to your coordinators. If you need an audience, we can be able to give you the audience. Thank you, comrades, and have a very wonderful evening. And we catch up again on the 7th of September or any day that deems fit. We shall be discussing other matters to do with consumers for clean air. Bye-bye, colleagues, and we have just 1 minute, and then we shall call off the meeting. I hope all of you have registered, and we wish you the very best during the course of the weekend. Okay, Mr. Chimera, you can end the call. Thank you.